Hello and welcome to episode 42 of Nolo Time. My name is Obed Velez, and with me is the most interesting man in the world, Joel Young.
What's up, guys? Welcome to a very spectacular Spider-Man episode of No Load Time.
Yeah,
We
I
got a
know
lot of
you're.
stuff to cover, but I
I
can't
know
wait
you're
to get to
hyped.
that one.
Yeah, I know you're hyped. You can barely contain yourself.
Oh man, I can't wait to dive into this, man. It's gonna be a great episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be good as always, man. So, how you doing, man? What's up? Anything new going on?
Yeah, man, it's been real busy on my side, but I know we're gonna dive into a movie that you and I both saw over the weekend. But so we both picked up The Last Jedi, as you guys know. Last week it came out, and so we both picked up The Last Jedi, but we both picked it up in 4K. However, I, Obed, did not have a 4K Blu-ray player yet. I know you have one, and you've spoken very highly of it, and I've heard many great reviews from other people around. And I was in need of a new Blu-ray anyways. So I said, you know what? This is a great opportunity to get one. Ironically enough, you, Obed, text me about a sales going on at Best Buy for a 4K Blu-ray player, LG. So I was able to go out and pick up the exact one that you sent me. Not only did I pick that up, but I also picked up a special HDMI, make sure it was 4K compatible, thicker copper, so that way they could send out, full HDR as well, right?
Hopefully, they didn't rip you off with that one.
No, I actually got it pretty cheap.
Okay,
But
okay, good.
yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna spend. You could see they have them lined up, and it's like, what's the difference between this one and this one? It's the same thing. One's just costs an arm and a leg, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I said I got this thing. I have a 4K TV just like yourself, and plugged that guy right on in, and sat back and watched the first 4K movie, which was The Last Jedi. And Obed, even putting the movie aside, just watching the visuals of this movie, man, it is fantastic. It really enhances the color. I think that's the biggest thing that stood out to me was color.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot. It's not the frame rate or anything like that for me. It was just the vibrancy, like of how these locations, especially like the stuff in the daytime, like that stuff looks amazing. Not the stuff at night doesn't, but just you could see because of the lighting, right? The different lighting colors, right? Especially when you're on the planet where not the planet, I should say the island where Rey is training with Luke, right? It's a beautiful, the greens and the blues and the water, and just really great, and the sunsets, right? So just really great enhancement of that. So it really does enhance the experience all around. Fantastic though. But Obed, I know you got to see the movie too, man. I know you've had a good weekend, man. How are things going with you?
Yeah, same thing. That was probably the most major thing I did last weekend. Was watching The Last Jedi again. I played some more Dragon Ball again online, and still doing okay. Probably my team needs to go back to doing some rework on that, but I'll have to spend some more time on the lab and train a little bit more. Not because I'm dropping combos, because I need to maximize my damage, and I'm still struggling a little bit with that, but otherwise still doing pretty good. But yeah, like you mentioned, we watched The Last Jedi again. This was my second viewing. I know that you saw it a couple times in the movie theater, and this was probably your fourth viewing, if I'm not
It
wrong,
was,
right?
yep, for
Okay. Yeah, like you said, the biggest difference to me with a conventional Blu-ray and a 4K Blu-ray, which to me, the conventional Blu-ray looks perfectly fine. There's
absolutely.
absolutely nothing wrong with it. Like if you have conventional Blu-rays and you have a decent Blu-ray player that'll convert to 4K, it's totally fine. It looks really really good. The sound's still uncompressed audio, and then you get features and whatnot on the actual Blu-ray disc. So that aside, like you mentioned, the big difference is color depth and the wide range of colors that this disc can produce, and especially if your TV is HDR compatible, that really makes it pop. I think Joe, like any reference, like I really look for reference scenes on movies. Like for example, you watch a movie and you have a scene where you have a lot of color with shadows and blacks, and it also the sound plays a big part. Like say, for example, the T-Rex scene on Jurassic Park during the rain. That's a reference scene, and and you have some colors popping out. You have dark images. You have rain and sound and all this going on. So that's like my perfect example of a reference scene. But The Last Jedi has, in my opinion, the best reference scene, which is the throne room fight scene, because most TVs have a lot of issues with color red. Like either it'll bleed or the color reproduction itself, it's spotty and it's either too shiny or it looks more like a wine type of color, like a burgundy type of color. But this scene, and I spent a few hours calibrating my TV. I looked for info on the TV and color arrangement and how to get the best picture out of my TV. So after spending a while calibrating my TV, I actually got it to the desired settings. I would say with HDR, which is to be kind of hard to calibrate because of the wide range of colors. So, but this scene looked perfect. I was like, oh yeah, this looks fantastic. And then the sound is really good. And, you got the lightsabers going on and then, battles, space stuff going on at the same time. So perfect referencing right there for this movie. Technical stuff aside, Joel, I really, really enjoyed it the second time. I enjoyed it more than the first time because I've had, 3 months to digest everything and everything that I thought, everything that we thought, and everything that both critics and fans said during this period of time. So I went in. I was like, all right, I'm hoping that I'm not disappointed by my second watching. No, I actually walked out and I liked it even more than the first time. And I think that's sort of consensus. A lot of people tend to like this movie better the second time around. If I'm not saying it wrong. I don't know if you agree with me on that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think this movie, and I think I've said it before on the show, but I think with this movie, even not just even as time goes by of rewatching it, but I would even go as far as to say as when the future films come out, whether it's episode 9 or whether it's the Ryan Johnson trilogy supposed to be coming out. I think going forward, we'll look back on this movie and it will make a lot more sense and will be more appreciated. And yeah, typically sequels are not that great with Star Wars. Sorry, not Star Wars and movies in general. Pardon me. But I think we have to look at this and just say like this is trying to do something different. We understand it for what it is. Isolate this movie. Don't try to compare it to the other Star Wars movies, and recognize that's good cinema on its own.
The good thing with this movie is that it really shatters your expectations, and that's one of the things that I really loved about it.
Right, Empire Strikes Back wasn't as well received as it is now, and that's something that's interesting now.
Yeah, it's regarded as the best movie. Back then, it was panned by critics. So
exactly.
Yeah, and fans alike, like even fans panned it back then. But a few details that I caught, Joe, just to not to go into really spoilery territory because we talked about the movie ad nauseum already, and out of respect of anyone that hasn't watched the movie yet, but there's a scene in the movie with Broom Kid, as is affably known on the internets. And there's a scene in that movie when they're a Canto Bight, which, by the way, that Canto Bight sequence, it really felt a lot shorter the second time around. Like it didn't felt as draggy as the first time that I watched it. Yeah, it flowed a lot better. So there's a scene in this during Canto Bight when they go down to the stables and they meet Broom Kid for the first time, and the horse creature, is it the Valhyrs?
Yes.
So when Rose shows the kid the rebel insignia, and the kid smiles, and the kid looks at the Valhyr, and the Valhyr kind of like nods at him. It's like, they're talking through the Force, and it's a detail that I didn't catch the first time.
Yep.
So and that was pretty cool just to catch. I was like, oh, they're actually communicating
Yep.
through the Force, and that was pretty cool just to catch details like that. I really liked it. For some reason, this time around, Yoda looked kind of weird. It could be because of the movie resolution and whatnot, but it just I think the or something in the coloring on the aura was off. Compared to previous versions of Force Ghosts. Mind you, we haven't seen Force Ghosts since 1983 because we didn't see any during the prequels. But it could have been that. It could have been that just because of advancements in SFX, it just looked different. But other than that, I really enjoyed it, man. I can go for another watch right now if it wasn't too long.
I'm with you on that, man. I'm ready to go pop that movie in right now and go watch it. It's a good one. If you guys haven't seen it yet, go watch it. If you have watched it, please, I ask you, if you don't like it, give it another chance. Keep watching. Give it time. Those of you who do love it, more power to you.
Yeah, I mean, we're not haters. We'll watch pretty much anything that we're interested on, and we'll keep it on an open mind. We're not, fanboys, and just ignore the labels and whatnots that we have. but we're pretty open minded when it comes to these things, and and it's good. It lets us enjoy a variety of things, not just the things we really really love. But speaking of things that we really really love, Joe, we finally got the official announcement of the Spider-Man PS4 game, which is just called Spider-Man. No subtext, no subtitles or anything, and it's coming in September 7th. The funny thing is, Joe, like the day before, I told you I think this game's coming out in September, and then they confirmed it the next morning. So, Joe, you're super pumped for this game. What's up, man? What are you feeling?
I'm just feeling pure excitement, dude. I cannot wait to pick up a copy of this. I'm gonna be pre-ordering this thing for sure. I know that there's a collector's edition, so that's probably what I'm gonna be going for, because hey, this is the first just Spider-Man game coming out on PS4 and for a new generation, and I have high expectations for it just because of what we've seen from E3. So it's 2016, Obed, 2016 E3 that they announced this. It's been, last E3, they gave us a little more flavor to it, right? I'm happy that this year we've got a really solid exclusive for PlayStation, and it's something that, I'm for sure hyped about. I think it's going to bring together both young fans and older fans and new fans alike. So it's going to be a great opportunity to get people, really excited, and especially that it is an exclusive, I think helps PlayStation even more. Just because people are going to see the commercials coming out for this and be, oh, Daddy, I want to go pick up this game, or the adults go up and they're going to say, wait a second, you have an Xbox, we can't play this. Well, I guess we got to get a PlayStation. I'm serious. I think it's going to happen, Obed. And I think I've been reading some, people are saying that like it's confirmed this will never be brought over to Xbox.
Oh no, this is
it.
Yeah, this is a Sony funded project.
Yeah.
So this is not coming out for anything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry guys if you chose wrongly.
Well, I'm not gonna say you chose wrong because it's his own, right? But if you want to play this game, you're definitely gonna have to have a PlayStation. Is my point.
But you did though.
Oh, good. Those the trolls come after him.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna catch some checks this weekend.
Here goes the emails. Well, I didn't want to say.
You guys are fanboys. You guys are cashing checks.
You got to push your glasses up, Obed, right?
Yeah, good. But
oh boy,
but no, it looks fantastic. I think that they are really keeping this game pretty under wraps. They're not really giving out a lot of info. It's been they're giving enough stuff where it's like, oh, this is cool, but they haven't really gone into what the story is, what it involves, and all that. Joel, did you have a chance to take a look at the costumes that are coming out for it?
I did. I love that like punk Spider-Man like look, man. I love that. Like he's got like the little like metal mohawk kind of going on or
Yeah,
whatever. Like that's pretty awesome, dude.
yeah, it looks pretty neat. There's a rumor that one of the other ones, the other costumes is the noir costume.
That would make sense. And
Yeah,
that's been before in Spider-Man 2099, right? Or Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, I think was the
yeah,
one, right? That they had this they've had that's the first time I think we've seen that costume in action. But yeah, I would love to see the newer costume, especially if that can maybe also bring along maybe a symbiote costume too. Would be cool. We'll see.
yeah, probably. But yeah, no, I'm super excited for this game, and also got a war which is coming out in about
April
15,
20th.
yeah, 15 days. So yeah, looking forward to that. Looking forward to Spider-Man. Again, I went on Reddit this morning and I saw a meme um, of like a stick figure, like like with a stick hitting the Xbox logo, saying "Do something," because they released Sea of Thieves and like people got into it, but not the way they expected it, right? They expected people to love this game, and uh, critically it didn't do well. Fans are saying that it just doesn't have enough content. It's just not offering a lot. But and people are saying, I was like, oh, but did you guys didn't complain when um the game that they just announced for Xbox? Man, I keep forgetting the name. Oh, No Man's Sky. So No Man's Sky got announced that it's coming for Xbox in the summer. But the interesting thing about No Man's Sky is like, oh, you guys didn't complain about No Man's Sky where you didn't have anything to do. It's like, yeah, but 2 months later we had freaking Horizon Zero Dawn. What do you guys have? Um,
Yeah, nothing has come after this.
yeah, and there's really nothing. The only other thing is Crackdown, and I think that game's gonna get canceled. Man, that
Wow.
game just vanished after there was an event later last year. I think it was Paris Game Week or PAX or one event that was after E3 last year, and they had it for people to play, and people was like, yeah, we don't like this game. And that's when they announced like, oh, yo, this is gonna be delayed until like TBD. We don't know when this is coming out.
Oh
So
man.
I mean, I hope that this game doesn't get canceled because from what I've heard, the first game is really good. So Xbox fans really need something to look forward to. We're not going to go into a lot of like speculations right now. We will have an E3 episode, like a predictions episode, like we had last year. So keep checking in for that. But it's again sort of unfortunate that PlayStation is still killing it and killing it, and coming out with great properties and great products and great content, and Microsoft seems to be just like not doing anything. And it's incredible because I had spent the majority of the last 2 weeks at work working with another very very popular Microsoft product for businesses that's out right now, and it's incredible. Like it's like, wow, these guys are really bringing it in, and just the amount of things that you can do with this product is just amazing. But then you look at Xbox and it's like, yeah, you're making great hardware, but what's your content?
And there's smart guys behind it, is your point, I think, too. It's like there's smart people behind
Absolutely.
Microsoft, the heads. Just where's the substance when it comes to this specific, console?
Yeah,
And
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll see where this all comes down. Again, I'm hoping that this guys can. It's too late for them to turn it around. I'm not sure what their plans are for next gen. My prediction is that they'll just have a set-top box, sort of like an Apple TV device that you can just use your Xbox Game Pass and go 100% digital.
it's
But
possible. They'd be the
yeah,
ones that innovate it.
I mean, that's been my prediction for, since the X came out last year. It's like, yeah, if this thing doesn't do good, um, that we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. But yeah, we're hoping for the best. Again, competition drives innovation. We just don't want a one console economy.
No, it's not good for all of us.
No, I mean we need Microsoft. I mean, we back in the day we had Sega and Nintendo just going at it, and then we need Microsoft to bring it. I mean, Nintendo brought it now with the Switch, but um, it's a different it's a different product, right? They're catering to a much different audience, in my opinion. Although they are actually going for everyone. I really want to Switch. I just don't have the time to add more games to my library.
I totally understand.
Yeah, but yeah, Joel, let's talk about competitive gaming and esports in general, just a little bit. But just yesterday, we had the first ever NBA 2K League draft that was held in New York, full draft style, man. I wasn't expecting it to be like this. I was expecting it to be a little bit more of a casual event. But of course, there was no huge audience as the NBA draft, but the event was very much like an NBA draft, Joe. And we know that Dimes got the first dibs on that for Maps Gaming, and yeah, we saw some interesting things, Joe. What do you think of that, man?
I think what I love the most about what happened in New York, and I know people might have been like, "Oh, why didn't they have it a different style?" The style is kind of was like people was making a joke out of it, right? Like this is being taken way too
Yeah,
seriously or what
yeah,
have you, right? But I think the best part about it is the sense that they took it so seriously for the very first inaugural draft, just because they're trying to say like we believe in this thing so much that we believe this is going to be taken seriously at some point, and we will look back upon this inaugural draft and say we remember when it was this, and their hope is that down the line it will be extremely successful. You and I both know esports in general is successful, so we're happy to see the NBA get into it, and we wish them the best on it. It's great to see Mavs Gaming, picking up a big timer in Dimes. I think I'm very interested to see how his first few matches, how his team in general, but see how he performs his first few matches as professionally. I think everyone's going to want to watch this. I also think that it's interesting how they showed only the first half on live TV, and then the rest they had not even the first half, just the first round,
first round, yeah.
and then the rest of the rounds were on Twitch. So it really required people to get on Twitch to see the rest, and we did see that happen because I was watching. And on TV, you when you watch TV on Twitch, there was maybe a lower number, still pretty high. And then when the TV turned off and I look over at Twitch, they have watchers in the hundreds of thousands that were watching. So I definitely know that there's a lot of people who are taking watch of this, and it'll be interesting how it evolves over time. There's not much to say except that we wish it the best.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it'll be successful for sure. The thing is that the league is very serious about it, and that's a great thing. I think that what they're doing is that they're differentiating themselves from, say, the Overwatch League or any other leagues that are out there, whether it be for Dota or League of Legends or Counter Strike or FGC. So they're really taking this professional athlete take to it, and I really appreciated that. Some of these guys, are not used to the spotlight, and they are uh, they will definitely grow into these roles that they have been given. And but it was very interesting to see, some of the demeanor of some of the guys, and what they had to say in the exit interviews and all that. So that was pretty cool to watch. I'm pretty excited. I think this is the beginning for a great thing, not just in esports, but for these teams that are investing on these players and the esports concept. I think that they will be taken by surprise, and they will be motivated to I'd say up their investment into esports because it's making money. I mean, this thing is getting big. The FGC is still pushing back, but change is inevitable, guys. So you guys need to get used to this. It's the future, and it's one of those things, right? Right? It's like when your parent doesn't let you go out at night and tells you that it's for your own good, sort of thing. So it's growing pains, man. So we're seeing the fighting game community going through this type of growing pain where their games are no longer obscure and niche and like an underground or grassroots movement. These things are out there and they're mainstream. You guys need to get used to it and grow up. So that's my opinion. Flame shield up just in case. Um, but yeah, Joe, we will see where all this goes with 2K. And Joe, like I mentioned before, I didn't want to go into a lot of speculation in E3 stuff, but we got a couple of things to talk about PS5, and we had some rumors come out yesterday, and rumors come out today that there's dev kits that have been gone out to developers. We don't know exactly when and how many and who has them. My assumption is that it's probably first party right now and second party. And too early, maybe. We're what, 5 years since the PS4 came out, right, Joel? It was
2013. Yep, 5 years.
So I think this generation needs at least a good solid one more year. And then we can see what's going on. My prediction, and I hate to go into it like an E3 prediction just now, but is that they're going to tease something, but they're not going to release anything this year. Where they're going to wait until next year to do a full reveal / release, and we'll get a tease of things to come. But Joe, I was thinking about picking up a PS4 Pro. I was actually going to do it last week, man, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to hold off. I think we're going to get something new soon, so I'm just going to wait, and I'm going to do that. I'm still happy with my base PS4. I'll leave it as it is, and just wait it out. I mean, I waited almost 2 years to get my PS4, so I'll definitely wait it out for another year or so. So I'm good. But yeah, Joel, what do you think of this rumors?
Yeah, Obed, I'm really was happy when I saw this. I was talking to you saying that, same thing like you. The predictions from most critics saying that they would say the year 2020 is when the next PlayStation console would come out, PS5. But I think that at this point, if there's rumors coming out today, it's fair to say that by probably latter end of 2019, you already have a console that's hitting the world. According to the rumors that are going out, the reason why this is picking up traction that we should expect a sooner than later, than like an end of 2020 or something like that, release is simply because of the amount of dev kits that have been sent out. There was already previous rumors saying there was dev kits, and then now there's been confirmation from the source. And the source that's saying this is the same source that predicted the specs for PlayStation 4 and Switch, and they got most of it right. So they know their stuff, and to know that there's been a numerously large amount of dev kits sent out is just a positive sign that PlayStation is trying to get the developers to understand, what they're going to be working with or what they can work with and what the power can be for their future console. think what sticks out to me, and I know you'll probably get a little bit into some of the specs that have been reported out there that to be rumors right now, but I think the thing that stuck out to me the most is that there's a belief that there's going to be a push for PlayStation VR or PSVR, kind of the second iteration of what they have, and that there's going to be some incentives for VR, some type of way to really boost the VR market. And so whatever that's supposed to mean, I really don't know how to read into that. I just think that that means that they're not just going to make the technology look great, but there's probably some extra level of immersion that they're preparing for. And I'm all about VR, Obed. Remember, I had spoken, episode before about the Void, the VR experience that I did, and honestly, it's an example that there can be some really amazing developer technology for VR. So I'm all about it. And if it can be used right, and the price is right too, right? So, right now this stuff is expensive. If this console can make sure that's under $500 at launch, it'd be a huge success. I don't know if it's going to be that case. And then what the price of VR will also play into the adoption of it. Or will they bundle it together? I don't know. They'll probably offer both, but we'll see, Obed. But what are you hearing about some of the specs and some of the details to look at?
So, and again, guys, take this with a grain of salt. This is just rumors and speculation and leaks that are, or supposed leaks that are out there. But the big rumor right now is that this will be based around the new Navi architecture by AMD. Of course, AMD is powering the PS4, the Pro, and both Xboxes right now. So AMD is, they kept it again with going into consoles, and it's going to be built around the Zen microprocessor, according to a report by Restera, and the dev kits that were sent out are saying that it does have built-in VR functionality. They've added, basically like the VR is in the DNA of this device. This is not VR is not going to be an add-on. It's going to be part of the device. Of course, we've seen how well Sony has done with the PSVR. It sold very well. I think it's the biggest selling VR device out there right now, other than the Samsung Gear, which it's a phone attachment. So to me, that doesn't count. And they're marketing it very well. They're not overwhelming the customer. They're not forcing it on the customer or even the games. So that's a great move from their part versus having, say for example, the Kinect that was forced on everyone. It's like, hey, I don't want this. Why am I paying for this if I don't want this? So they have kept it very, very well, and I think that they will keep doing the same job. But what's interesting, Joel, is that what I'm seeing on this die, they released a snapshot of the processor die, and it looks like it has two CPUs on the same die. So it has two quad core CPUs. Similar to the CPUs that are on the PS4 Pro. I don't know. I don't know how they're planning to utilize this. I know that in the past, Sega used to have dual CPU machines that didn't work out well, but it was because of, we're talking about archaic architecture with no GPUs, and the CPU was low. Basically, graphics were offloaded to a separate processor instead of a graphics processor, and that's part of the complexity that bugged the Saturn and other machines from the era. But that's interesting to me. And the other thing that's interesting is that it'll have 20 AMD Radeon cores on the same die. I'm not too familiar with what's on the PS4 Pro right now when it comes to Radeon cores, but this is very, very similar architecture to PS4 Pro right now. But we'll see. I'm thinking this thing's Like these chips are not even out yet. Uh, so I'm thinking that this is at least a year and a half away still.
If anyone can figure out the next iteration of PlayStation, it's the guy who just worked on the last successful model, and that's Mark Cerny. So I've got a lot of faith to see this is going to be a powerful thing. But what features, what function, what's new, that's parts that get me excited. But I think just like you said, I would hope that we don't get an announcement reveal at E3. I think it'd be more of, if I was to say this properly, a glimpse, right, into what the future of PlayStation is. I think that's how they should present it. Take a look at a glimpse of the future of PlayStation, and that's it. Nothing more announcing anything.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think there's going to be, hey guys, we're working on this. Kind of like, remember the original Scorpio announcement? That was really good.
Yes.
That was a really good announcement when they teased it, and it took them a year and a half to release the console. Same with the PS3. Although, I mean, again, we're talking about an entirely different era, an entirely different gaming landscape, an entirely different Sony back then. And it's interesting, Joel, because I forgot to mention this to you, but a few weeks ago I went back and I actually watched the unveil E3 press conference for the PS4 for the PS3.
Oh wow!
I believe that was the 2005 the E3 2005 conference, where with Kaz Hirai and Ken Kutaragi and all the Sony legends coming out, and they were not really showing any gameplay. They were showing concepts of things that were coming to PS3, and that's where we got that infamous Killzone 2 trailer that was ridiculous, and I was like, this is impossible. So I watched that conference not too long ago. It was just a couple weeks ago, and it was very, very interesting to see how much Sony as a company has changed, and how the treatment of the gaming community has changed. I mean, this used to be business conferences with pie charts and numbers and all these things. Now it's excuse me. Now it's just about the games, and very interesting to see how much this all has changed. So I'm actually I was thinking of going back and watching the original Xbox stuff and the original like reveal stuff for consoles for the last few years to see how they fare. But it's been really interesting, man. And yeah, I'm pumped, man.
It's great to look back, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. And when you realize what you have now, it's always great to go back and check those things out.
For real.
But very interesting stuff. Normally, this sort of rumors are sort of true. We've known this sort of thing to be accurate, but we'll see. Again, this is still speculation. I think it's too early. I'm hoping that they actually come out with a fully realized product like they did with the PS4 and not a half-baked one. I'm hoping that there's actually really good content at launch. Again, Joe, my prediction's been that Death Stranding is going to come out for both PS4 and whatever the next gen device is in 2019, and that's my prediction. I still stand by it. I wanted a hat. I want to do something crazy. I wanted a Tide Pod. I'm good. but that's my prediction, and I'm hoping to see what they bring, man. And I'm hoping to see what everyone brings. All this stuff gets me really, really excited, and new hardware gets me really hyped. So we'll see what all this comes up. But Joel, I don't have anything else. It's been a fairly slow news week, mostly because the quarter's over, so most companies got their games out. So now we're waiting for the next couple of months for games to start coming out. I think the next big release is going to be God of War that's coming out, and then we got Detroit Become Human on I think May 20th, if I'm not wrong. So a month after God of War comes out. Then after that, we got E3, man, and that week we're gonna be busy.
Oh yeah, we'll be covering a whole lot of stuff for E3. Yeah, it's that it comes in waves, right? When it
Yeah,
comes in like a flood, look out, guys. You know we got it covered here.
yeah, exactly. The only other thing that I have, Joel, is what did you get to the chance to see the 22 Avengers posters that came out
I
for
sure
Infinity
did.
War?
I
Yeah,
sure did. I don't know how true this is, but I saw something that someone was saying, and I have not had the time to look into this further. You guys correct me if I'm wrong, but there was something saying that if you connected all of these posters in a certain way, that actually made Hawkeye, like it actually like a poster of Hawkeye was like revealed if you connected all of them.
because that was the big thing that Hawkeye was missing.
That's what I would say. That was the big thing. I don't know how true that is. To me, it doesn't sound right, but I have to look at it for myself to see how true that is. Interesting, nonetheless. But I think the marketing material is really great, and you know, any of the things now that I see with Iron Man specifically, I'm like, please don't bite the dust. Please don't bite the dust. Please don't. But I'm like, at the same time, if it happens, like so long as the storytelling is good, right? Same thing with, you know, spoiler alert, if you've not seen The Force Awakens, the movie's been out for a few years. When Han Solo died in Force Awakens, right? Like, I didn't want Han to die, but because of the way the story was told, I accepted it, right? Because it was necessary to happen for the way the story was going, but it's not something I was happy about. I'll probably feel similarly if Iron Man dies in this movie. I really hope not, but if he does, if it furthers the story, Iron Man is a mantle, same thing like Captain America, and it can be passed on. I think that's the way they'd go. Kind of like James Bond, they've said that before. But yeah, poster's really awesome, man. I do have a little bit of DC. I don't know if you remember in the notes that I sent already about what was going on with Flash. I don't know if you've seen some of the stuff coming out there. Ready Player One just came out recently in theaters, and so with that comes out some information about the guys working behind the scenes. One of the guys that was working on Ready Player One, one of the writers, if I'm not mistaken, he was also attached working on the Flash movie, and I guess somehow like when he was he was attached to Flashpoints, people wanted to ask him questions about the next upcoming Flash movie, and then he actually went out on the record. He didn't have to do this. He went out of his way to intentionally say, guys, I'm not saying that this movie is actually even called Flashpoint that I'm working on. It's kind of an adaptation kind of thing. I've said too much kind of deal. And that led a lot of people to go a little wild just because, Obed, I watched everything from Comic-Con last year. That was probably everything that they did was pretty much hyping up Justice League, right, and Wonder Woman, right? But that was probably their bigger announcements, like a reveal. Probably their biggest reveal, I would say, outside of them promoting an upcoming movie that they already had footage for. Their biggest reveal was Flashpoint. Hey, we're making the Flashpoint. They didn't say what it was. They just said this is. Sorry, they didn't say how it was going to be. Just that this is the title of this new Flash movie. And if anyone knows Flashpoint, you know this is a movie that brings together and shakes the entire DC universe. It brings together you have a very strong arc with Superman, very important arc with Batman, and an extremely incredibly interesting, a not popular portrayal of Wonder Woman, but it's a story that would bring all these together, almost like a Justice League 2.0, right? Could be another Justice League movie to some degree, even though it's centered on Flash. If they're not doing Flashpoint, Obed, it's gonna get a lot of people mad. I wouldn't, but it would not get me mad. I think an adaptation I don't even want. I don't even want. The reason I say this is because we didn't get a pure introduction to Flash in Justice League. He just kind of was put in there and just kind of continued on with the story. But assuming that people watch the TV show, outside of that, no one really understands who this Barry Allen is. So you're just going to tell me that out of nowhere he's going to be running back through time to save his mother, and we've never even seen what happened or how it has affected his life or how he even lives his life as the Flash. We only get glimpses in Justice League. I feel like it's too soon to jump into the story of let's change Flash's world when we've never actually lived in it. So I think that's why I'm saying I hope that I know there's been multiple director changes. There's been multiple writer changes on this movie. They can't stick anybody to this movie. My hope is that with the changes of directors and changes of writers, someone said, hey, look, Flashpoint was what this guy wanted to work on. That's not what I want to work on. I want to do it this way. And that they went that direction if it's for the better.
Yeah, at this point, I don't care as long as it's good because that's their problem, right? They try to come up with this outrageous new things that put out. Flashpoint, I think it's a very complex project. So if they decide not to go in that route, that's to me, that's fine, because they just need to make sure that the project is good and that the end result is good, it's positive, and it's widely accepted, and they keep the fans happy. So to me, that's more important than for the project to be Flashpoint. Like I mentioned when I talked about Justice League, to me, Flash was one of the more like humanizing, if not the most human character out of all of them, because he brought something that none of the other characters had, which was humor, and to me that was very important. So I'm hoping that whoever's in charge of the project and whatever the end result is, it's good. And I'm hoping, still hoping the best for DC. But this would be the best opportunity for them to reset it, right?
Yeah.
So that they can come up with something and just trying to reset the universe and hopefully save it.
Yeah, I'll tell you this much though, but I don't know if you've watched the Flashpoint animated movie. It is phenomenal. I highly recommend it. I don't know if you've read any Flashpoint books, but it's definitely, if they're going to make that movie, you definitely should not, this is my opinion, you should not have a humorous Flash, because it's a very emotional, very deep, very intense. And if you might have to really change the Flash character or portray him very differently if you're going to make this Flash movie. It's a very in-depth story. So I just don't know, man. I really hope that they change and say, if we're going to keep this certain type of tone, let's make our own story. And I hope it's for the better. But again, exactly. make a good movie.
Yeah, exactly. So just fitting, yeah, and you're absolutely right. Just fitting a humorous Flash on Flashpoint, that's not going to work. And they have to come up with a new story. They can adapt, like, so for example, what the X-Men movies did with Age of Apocalypse, right? It has nothing to do with the Age of Apocalypse from the comics. It's called Age of Apocalypse because it's recognizable to comic book fans, but it really didn't have anything to do with the original Age of Apocalypse. It was more of let's take ideas from Age of Apocalypse and from a couple other things and do our own thing, just like they did with Days of Future Past. I mean, that's not Days of Future Past from the comics. It's something completely different. It's the same difference, right? Because it's the same concept executed in a different way. So maybe they can come up with something like that'll be good. That to me is the most important thing right now for DC, is for them to put out a quality product. So
100% agree, man.
Yeah. But yeah, man, that's all I got. If you want to go ahead and plug in the internets and the Insta chats and the Snapgrams and all of those things that you kids are into.
Oh man, just keep dating yourself. No.
I love to do this, man, because it's funny. Hey, no, I'm a techie. I keep up with all that stuff. I'm just poking fun at you guys. I'm just poking fun at the old guys that don't like change. So.
No, I know you, man. We're innovators. Totally. Guys, we are so thankful you took time out of your day to listen to us here on No Load Time. If you're watching us on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel, like our videos, share it with others. You listen to the audio version. We're on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud. It's No Load Time. Real simple to follow us. You can subscribe to us on those venues. And then also, if you are listening and are a subscriber on iTunes, if you can go ahead and drop us a review, that helps us out greatly. In addition to all of that, we also are on social media, just as Obed was joking about. So you can follow us at No Load Time. That's at No Load Time on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. We do a lot of really, information in regards to the podcast when a new episode comes out. So it's a great way to stay connected about what's going on. And then in addition to that, we also want you to know you can communicate with us, whether that's through the comment section, whether that's through social media, or even better, through an email. We got people who send us emails to noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. You can send us questions, feedback, comments, whatever you want to do. We can potentially, respond back to that on the show if it's necessary. But we look forward to hear from you guys. We're thankful for you watching our show, and we always look forward to the next episode here at No Load Time.
Absolutely, and we will see you next time. And you guys have a good time.
See ya.